Welcome back to the Car Dad YouTube channel. Today we've got the 2023 Ford Bronco Badlands edition. Now, when you think about four-door SUVs that are ready for the off-road, you think about the Toyota 4Runner and the legendary Jeep Wrangler. Well, the Ford Bronco really needs to be on that list as well when you think about ready off-road vehicles. Today we've got the Cactus Gray version that starts just under $50,000. For what it is, the price is fantastic for the off-road capabilities you get and the quality of ride and even the good looks that the Badlands Ford Bronco offers. Now, if you need a four-door SUV that you want to take the kids to school with on the weekdays and take it off-road on the weekends, this needs to be a contender because so far it's been great. So stick with us. We're going to check out the interior, the exterior, and then take it for a test drive and see how it is. So please stay with us. Thanks for joining the Car Dad YouTube channel. Now let's get to it. All right, starting off with the 2023 Ford Bronco Badlands Edition. Now, one of the first things you see on this vehicle are these beautiful 17-inch bead-locked wheels with all-terrain tires as standard. You get the left and the right anchor points on the hood. You get tow hooks on the left and the right of the front and the rear, as I'll show you in a second. And then you get this awesome bumper bar as standard as well, along with the slide rails on these sides. So, as I had mentioned before, the Badlands Edition comes ready for off-road with those all-terrain tires and all the off-road equipment that you would typically, put on this aftermarket. So it's nice it comes with its stock, especially as it starts at just under $50,000. In regards to the drivetrain and the performance, you do get the 2.3 liter EcoBoost inline 4 with 300 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic. You can get this with a 7-speed manual, but nowadays most people really look for that automatic. This does have the option of coming with a V6, which does boast a bit better numbers, but in regards to the inline 4, as this model has, it does have a 3,500 pound towing capacity, so not much, and that doesn't differ from the V6 version as well. But 3,500 pounds, you can tow maybe some small trailers and such, but for most of what people are going to use this for, that's plenty. It's a gross weight of 6,100 pounds, so it's no slouch. It's a little bit of a porker, but you understand why, especially in regards to it being an off-road vehicle. In regards to miles per gallon, you're not going to like these numbers, especially out of this inline 4 EcoBoost. It's only about 16 city and 17 highway as a 17 combined. So you're really not benefiting from having that inline 4 with this vehicle, with those tires and the way the transmission is set up. Don't be looking at this as your next economic choice in regards to vehicles. Stick with a Prius for that. The outside also does feature a removable roof. On the inside, you can flip a few different latches to remove that roof and go topless, just like if you had a Jeep Wrangler. You've got the roof rack on top for taking any cargo racks, cargo boxes, or what else. And then moving on to the back, as the front we have LEDs in the back as well, with tow hooks, as I mentioned, on the left and the right side. You have a full-size 17-inch bead-locked spare, as well as the reverse camera poking out there in the back. So it's really nice to have that full-size spare, especially as you go off-roading. All right, now let's check out the cargo capacity of this vehicle. So you do have this split tailgate, with the lower part being attached to the wheel and then the upper glass. Not too hard to open. But so in regards to cargo capacity, now you're not buying this because you need to take your whole 5-person family as well as dogs and all your luggage and equipment. You get this for off-roading and then the occasional family trip. Now, with all seats in place, you do have 38.3 cubic feet of space, which is decent. I mean, this is going to be just as much as most 3-row SUVs have behind the third row. But of course, it's only got space for 5. This will be plenty. I only have a couple dogs and a daughter, and this would be just enough for us. If you have too much stuff, you're going on a larger trip, might be a little shy on that. But remember, you can put all the seats down. With all the seats down, you have 83 cubic feet of space, which that's not bad. You can take a couple trips to the lumber yard and grab some things at Home Depot and so on. So no need for a pickup truck. You don't need the Wrangler with the pickup bed. You've got this 83 cubic feet with the seats all down. 38.3 cubic feet with the second row up as seen. So not too bad. Not too much frills back here. You have some space on the side for, you know, a little bit of storage back there. But then when you also open up this, you have, of course, the jack that is coming standard and a little bit of space back here. Some storage if you want to keep it out of, you know, the prying eyes of, you know, possible theft. It's a good place to put it. Otherwise, you have a couple anchor points right there and right there. But overall, it's a pretty basic rear cargo area. You know, you're not getting too many frills with this off-road vehicle, but again, 38.3 cubic feet behind the second row seats and 83 cubic feet with all the seats down. All right. And that's what we have for cargo. Now let's move on to the interior. All right, and starting off in the interior of the Ford Bronco. So right off the bat, one thing I liked was that there is no Ford logo right here. Now, not that I don't like the Ford logo, but seeing something different like the Bronco logo for such a legendary vehicle in their lineup is nice to see. The steering wheel's got everything you need. You've got the cruise control right here, sound control right there, you know, track back and forward, menu button right here, and then the menu scrolling options right here, and of course the OK button. If you look at the screen, now one thing is nice is that you can control the different views that you have. So you can see the fuel economy, and one thing I like to do is go to the off-road. What's cool is that you can see, you know, kind of the degrees of, you know, hill ascent and descent, as well as the horizontal tilt. And then you can see at what degree your wheels are turned. Of course, you got miles per hour, and the RPMs right there, and then of course mileage. Speaking of off-road, one thing that's nice is that within reach, you do have your roll bar detach button right there, your front differential locker, rear differential locker, your off-road turning, and then of course your traction control, and then most importantly, your hazard button right there. Within reach, what's nice is that you don't have to lean forward to touch the screen. It is all within arm's length, at least for the average person. This 8-inch touchscreen has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. One thing I don't like about that screen necessarily is that it is kind of a matte finish. It doesn't have the best color, I have to say, in comparison to a lot of vehicles out there today. That may or may not bug you, but for me, I think it looks a little cheap. But nonetheless, it's got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so you can't be too disappointed with that. In regards to off-road switches as well, what's really nice is that they give you the option for 6 different aux switches. You can connect these to auxiliary lights in the front and the rear. Really, you can connect pretty much anything to them. So, you know, having the option for 6 of them, that's a huge, huge option to have. Now, as mentioned before, the roof does come off, and you would flip about 3 different levers, front and then back, and you can take off all 4 sides of the roof of this vehicle. Now, that being said, it does get a little dark in here, especially this time of day, because there is no windows on this roof, or sunroof for that matter. So that is something to note. If that matters to you, you may not want to get this one. But that being said, we go down here into the center console. You do have some nice physical knobs. So you do have your temperature control right here. You know, you have the different settings for the HVAC control, span up and down, and then you have a physical volume knob, which is fantastic, as well as a tune knob with the auto stop start button in the middle. Now, with so many vehicles going to full touch screens, and especially for their climate control, that's a really nice thing to have, especially if you actually utilizing this for off-road and you have gloves or dirty hands and so on. So you don't have to touch a screen just to change your climate control. Down here as well, we do have USB-C and regular USB right there, as well as this nice tray for storage. And then a very nice little plaque right here, you know, giving pride to the Michigan assembly. And then a physical gear shifter as well. And then, as mentioned before, you do have these grab handles, both right there, and then on the driver's side as well. You have these nice sizable cup holders in the middle. You have your window switches in the middle right here, as well as your side mirror controls. A little hard to get used to, but after a while, you get used to it and you remember that they are in the middle and not on the door as typical vehicles. And of course, the legendary GOAT modes. Now, this does have 4 low, 2 high, 4 high, and 4 automatic, as well as hill descent mode. So all you have to do is turn this knob, and you can change to those different modes. Again, back to storage. You do have a good amount of storage down here in the center armrest, with a USB connector in there as well. And then in regards to storage on the side door, you would be able to put probably a liter bottle of water in here. It's not going to stay super still, as this is just a net, but overall, that's maybe all you need, is just some space for maybe a bottle or some odds and ends. So storage in here is not bad at all. You know, it's a really nice place to be, especially if, you know, off-roading fairly regularly. On this particular model, you do not have automatic seats. Everything's manual on these. So this is your up and down lever, your seat back lever is right here, and then of course your lumbar adjustment right here. So in regards to these seats are nice. They're comfortable, they're supportive. Controllable lumbar on the driver's side is very nice to have. Overall, these seats look really good. If you really absolutely need automatic seats, that's something you really like, you may need to option that. But for the manual controls, you know, you set it once and you're good. There's no memory seats, of course, without being automatic, but if you know how you liked your seats, or you and your spouse have the exact same seating position, then by all means, this is a good option for you. All right, and now for the rear. Now, as I had mentioned before, there is a bit of cargo capacity in this vehicle, which is really nice. So with these seats down, you do get about 80 cubic feet of storage. So to put these seats down, all you have to do is flip this headrest down and then grab this lever and boom, you've got space. So putting that down is super easy. You have 80 cubic feet when down. The other side does that, of course, as well. As you can see, there is the anchor points for car seats. So again, families with kids in car seats, this is an option for you. You can get this vehicle and it does work with kids. So you have the rear anchor points, and then you do have ISOFIX points just hiding right in here. So that's going to be on both the left and right side of the rear seats. All right, and now driving the Ford Bronco Badlands Edition. Now, what I need to preface what I'm about to say with is that this does have the optional Sasquatch package. And what the primary features of that are is the Bilstein suspension. As you can see from the outside, it was slightly lifted up, as well as those meaty 35-inch all-terrain tires. Now, with all-terrain tires, most of you would know that you can't expect the quietest of rides. And that is no exception for this vehicle. You know, when I first got in this vehicle a few days ago, I noticed that it does have a lot of cabin road noise. And again, that's to be expected with an off-road ready vehicle. But those 35-inch tires really just exaggerate the noise in the cabin. So if you're looking for a Rolls-Royce quietness, this isn't the vehicle for you, but especially if you get the Sasquatch package with those 35-inch all-terrain tires. That being said, the Bilstein suspension is very nice. All these roads have been a little bit windy. This handles pretty well, given the weight of this vehicle and the size of the tires and whatnot. It handles well, and it's really all you would need in regards to handling for daily driving. And off-road, I'm sure this is even more fantastic, especially given all of these different functionalities such as front and rear locking differentials, sway bar disconnects, and off-road turning. As well, on the road with the 10-speed automatic, you do not miss any gears. I mean, there's constantly gears, 10 speeds. I remember the days when there was 5 or 6, but with the 10-speed automatic, it is a pretty smooth ride. You don't really have any issues catching those gears. In regards to the engine, now, I would say with a 6,100 pound vehicle with these tires and only 300 horsepower out of that EcoBoost inline 4, you probably need to option the V6. If I had my way, and if you have the budget, I would option the V6 for this vehicle. You're gonna get an extra 30 horsepower, but I think that extra 30 horsepower is really gonna make a difference in how this drives and how it feels. So keep that in mind when you're looking to spec one of these, or when you're looking to purchase one of these secondhand. But overall, this is a nice cabin to be in. These seats are comfortable. I could easily be in these for many, many hours on end for road trips. You know, your passengers have the same comfort. These even have heated seats, which, you know, you can have heated seats while off-roading, which would be fantastic, and something that, you know, until more recent years, not something that you had in a vehicle like this. So overall, the Ford Bronco is a great vehicle to drive. With the 35-inch tires, it makes it a little bit noisier in here, but without those, it probably would be a lot quieter. So keep that in mind, and that's driving the 2023 Ford Bronco Badlands Edition with the Sasquatch package. I really had a great time driving the Ford Bronco, and honestly, if you're looking for a daily driver that has a fantastic interior that you can take off-roading on the weekend, I would highly recommend this vehicle. Honestly, it's a lot of fun to drive. Thanks for watching.